Hello, today I'm going to be doing the question and answer video that I promised for 80,000, which I'm so thankful for. Thank you so much. But I have a whole list of questions that I'm going to be answering. I have the most common ones. I have questions about me, questions about Dragon's lore, questions about like my channel in general, just all sorts of stuff. I hope you enjoy this type of video. I tried to put every single comment that I could, every single question into this video, but there was a lot of questions, so I just did the most popular ones and the most commonly asked ones. So I really do hope you like this video. I have a whole script, a bunch of questions, I don't know how many. So I hope you like this video. The most common questions I got were like about materials. So this entire section is going to be about materials and the type of materials I use for my puppets. First question is, what kind of markers do you use? I personally use Ohuhus. I have the 216 pack of Ohuhus. They're pretty expensive, but they're not as expensive as Copic, so they're a good alternative between the two. And they just work really great for me anyways. They've always have. They create like really smooth looks. See right here. And they just look really nice in general, have very vivid colors. And I definitely recommend Ohuhus if you're looking for good markers for the holidays or Christmas or really anything just to buy in general. But I definitely recommend Ohuhus. The next question that I got asked the most was, what kind of paper do you use? I use cardstock. It's very thick cardstock. It looks like this. It's very big and it's a 11 by 17 cardstock. It's 100 weights, like 100 pound weight is what they call it. It works really great. Like it's like flexible, but it doesn't bend. And that's what I use for most of my dragons, for most of my newer ones anyways. For example, Atlas is made of this paper. Most of my puppets are made of that paper. So yeah, definitely this paper. I'll put a link in my description for most of these things I'm talking about and where you can buy them. I buy most of these on Amazon. What are some other markers than Ohuhu? Is the next question that I got. Because some of you can't afford Ohuhu or you just want to try a different type of marker, and that's totally fine. I drew Todd and most of my older ones. Cali art is what it's called. It draws very smooth for not one of the most popular brands, and I really like them. I think they're great. So if you're looking for a different alternative, that's definitely one of the brands I would get. What do I use to highlight my dragons? I use this right here. It is a highlight pen and it's really great for just little details, little highlights. For example, like right there, see those little highlights? I use these with these. You can also use pastas, but I like these for more fine details. I got them on Amazon, like most of my materials. So the next section is questions about me. Just kind of, you get to know me basically. The first question is, what is my favorite color? My favorite color is personally yellow, but my second favorite color is blue, so I kind of like them both. The next question I got a lot is, how many pets do I have? I have a ton of pets. I have 7 chickens, which I love. I have 4 dogs, 1 mini Australian Shepherd, 1 Australian Shepherd, 1 Husky, and a weird mutt rabbit thing. I don't know. He's really small. He's a mutt. He's half blind and deaf. He's a pretty ugly dog. And I have 2 parakeets. You probably hear them in most of my videos or lives or whatever. They're pretty noisy and annoying. And I have 1 gecko. He's not mine, but I have a gecko. The next question is, what is my favorite season? My favorite season personally is fall. I love fall. It's so cool and I love watching the leaves change and just stuff like that. It's so pretty. How did I get my YouTube name? So I get this question a lot. My YouTube name actually came from my little brother. He couldn't pronounce my real name, and so he called me Deca. And then he keeps calling me Deca, so the rest of my family starts calling me Deca, and it becomes like a huge nickname. So when I started my channel, I was like, why not Deca? Because like I'm always called Deca, so Deca's Puppets. So that's how I got my name. Kind of an interesting story. What is my clothing style? I'm generally like baggy clothes, obviously, and kind of like indie, except an indie style, kidcore style, but without the crop tops. I'm not really the biggest crop top person, but probably indie. But I don't have a lot of indie clothes because my school has a dress code, unfortunately. How long have I been puppeteering? I made my first puppet October 1st, 2023. So that was like a while ago, more than a year ago. Do I have any friends in real life that do puppeteering? No, I do not have any friends in real life that do puppeteering, but I have a bunch of friends that are really supportive of my channel, and I go live with them sometimes. So I absolutely love them. I have a bunch of like friends and pookies online that make puppets. Never mind, like really good friends. What got me into puppeteering? So a really toxic friend of mine, she made a dragon puppet and sent it to me, and then she kept making them, so I wanted to make them. So I made my first puppet, and that's kind of like what started me, is just from her making dragon puppets. So if that makes sense, kind of a random story, but that's what got me into starting dragon puppets. What other arts do I do? So my other arts that I do is obviously mask making. That's probably one of my most other prevalent things besides dragon puppets is mask making. I also, of course, make traditional art and, you know, just dragon puppets. And I do dino masks. You've probably seen it in my normal videos. Sometimes I use them. Here's my dino mask, by the way. What is my music taste? I get this one actually, I got it a couple times, so it's not one of the most popular questions, but I thought I'd answer it for those people who did ask. My music taste is like soft alternative or indie music, and then also 90s alternative. I love 90s alternative. What fandoms am I in? I am obviously in Dragon Puppets, kind of the most obvious and most prevalent fandom. I'm also in Warriors, and I'm a little bit into Wings of Fire fandom, but not the biggest fandom. I used to be bigger into it, but now I'm not as big into it. So now we're into the next section, which is channel questions. It's about my channel or like, you know, just other stuff about that. The first question I got in that section is, will I ever start a Discord? At the moment, no. I do not plan on starting a Discord, and I only use Discord for small reasons. I don't really use Discord that much. So at the moment, no, but maybe in the future, I might start a Discord. When did I start my channel? I started my channel October 24th, 2023. Will I ever quit or change content? At the moment, no. I do not plan on quitting or changing content. I may quit in the future for different reasons that I will not know, but at the moment, I do not plan on quitting or changing content. I am loving what I'm doing right now. What is my favorite thing of being a puppeteer? My favorite thing about being a puppeteer is definitely for the experience. Being a puppeteer is like super fun. I get to meet new people and see creativity and other fun things. So I basically just do dragon puppets and start my channel and continue my channel because of the experience and the fun I have of it. Do I sell dragon puppets? I do sell dragon puppets on my Etsy, Deca's Creations. I do commissions. I don't really sell dragons. I mainly just do commissions. Right now, I'm planning on getting another commission up. So if you're interested in that, there'll be a link in my description. Do I allow inspiration? If so, how much is considered too much inspiration? I allow inspiration, and I absolutely love when people take inspiration from my puppets. I don't care if you take inspiration, just make sure it's small. Like if you like my ear style, then go for it. If you like my eye style, then you can definitely take inspiration from that. Too much inspiration though is when you take the entire idea of the puppet and just change the color palette. So for example, if someone just traced the entire thing of this, basically just traced it, but then changed the colors to red, green, whatever, that is considered too much inspiration. When it looks almost identical, but it's not identical at the same time. That is considered too much for me. So I hope you understand that. The next section is like dragon puppet questions about my puppets and other stuff like that. What is Todd's lore? Okay, I always get this question. So Todd actually has a very complex lore, definitely one of my most like traumatized dragons. So I'm gonna kind of go into a brief description of Todd's lore. It's not gonna be like too long, but it's gonna basically say most of it. So when he was young, his egg was stolen, and humans tested on him. And their goal was to make him be able to talk in human language, and they managed to do that. So he talked in human language, wore human clothing, for example, the hats and stuff like that. His best friend is Buttons. He's a very old dragon, and he is Todd's best friend. He's always been nice to him, and they're just like best friends. When they started testing on buttons, Todd he didn't realize what was happening until they basically made Buttons go feral. Basically, they corrupted him, ruined him. Buttons went out of control. When Todd found out that his best friend was not his best friend anymore because he wasn't hardly even a dragon, he got really angry and he wanted revenge. He attacked the humans and killed actually multiple people, and he started an entire revolution in the dragon, like in my lore world, whatever you want to call it. He started an entire revolution, and that caused all the humans to go extinct. So yeah, there's Todd's lore. He was also only a very young dragon at this age, only like 8 when he started the entire revolution. Am I going to remake Myrtle? I got this one a lot, especially when I retired her. A bunch of people were very angry or sad that I got rid of Myrtle. I'm not going to be using her anymore. So yes, I do plan on remaking Myrtle. She was definitely a fan favorite to most people. I feel like most people loved Myrtle. So I'm definitely going to be remaking her. The question is when? I don't know. I have no clue when I plan on remaking her, but I plan on doing it for either 90,000, maybe even 100,000. I don't know. I'm gonna bring her back, don't worry. Does Myrtle have any lore? At the moment, no, she does not. She is the only dragon that does not have any lore in my entire thing. I made her just for my trip that I went to Myrtle Beach, which is where she got the name Myrtle from. So she does not have any lore at the moment. But I plan on remaking her and maybe giving her a little bit more lore than just nothing, because every single one of my dragons has lore except for Myrtle. What puppet is my favorite out of my older dragons? My favorite out of my older dragons has got to be Ice Cream or Cream, I don't know. She kind of has a lot of nicknames, but I absolutely loved her design. She's my second puppet and I just love her still. I just don't use her. Maybe I'll remake her, I don't know. Who is my favorite dragon? My favorite dragon has got to be like Atlas, Jade, Cassiopeia. I love them so much. Here's Atlas, for example. She's my main dragon. What is Atlas's lore? So Atlas's lore is kind of complex. If you didn't see, in my community post recently, I did a little writing of her lore, and that kind of gave you an idea for her lore, but I'm going to say it a little more. So Atlas is the goddess of the stars, like the galaxy, the universe. And she had a sister who helped her keep balance to everything. So when her sister got stolen by Damon, who is definitely the criminal, the villain, everything got out of balance. So Atlas, she set on a mission to go find her sister because planets were being destroyed because she couldn't handle everything on her own, if that makes sense. So when Atlas finally found her on Damon's planet, because he lived all the way across the universe and she had to go find him, her sister was already dead. She got into a huge fight with Damon, and Damon ends up knocking her out and tortures her, basically. He ends up defeating her and creates, a lot of scars. So I'm kind of still working on the lore a little bit, but that's the general basis of her lore. What dragons do I plan on remaking? I plan on remaking some of my older ones, such as Ryu, Ice Cream, and Aurora. Those are my main ones that I really want to remake, but I haven't gotten to it yet. There are definitely some classics. How long does it usually take to make a dragon puppet? I would say between 5 to 12 hours, usually. Some of my smaller, easier ones would take less. Like for example, Atlas, she probably took like 7-8 hours. And then some of my more complex dragons, such as Prince Blaze, Atjon, they are very longer one. For example, 12 hours probably, 10 to 12 hours for those two. So it really just depends on the complexity of it. How did I find my style? Okay, I get this one a lot, and mostly I just say practice, but for this, I'm gonna give a more detailed how I found my style. For my older puppets, I looked at them and I was like, I want to change this and this on it because I don't really like that. So I look at other puppeteers that I liked, and I would find things that I liked on them and incorporate them into my dragons. So for example, Aurora is when I really found my style. So Aurora had the fluff, which has definitely always been in my dragons, like the fluff right here. It's on almost every single one of my puppets. So basically you just want to find things that you love on other people's puppets and incorporate onto yours until you find your style that you really like. How do you improve on dragon puppets? So The way I improved is I looked for things I didn't like on my puppets, like that I wanted to change. So for example, my first puppet, it was my very first one. I had no clue what I was doing. I made the bottom jaw too big, so I didn't like it. So on my next one, Ice Cream, I made the jaw more small, and I changed the jaw. So basically what I'm saying is you should try to find things that you don't like on your puppets and change them. Make it until you like it. That's how I improved personally. I don't know if like that will help you that much, but that's the way I improved, so I hope that makes sense. Now, on to the next section. It's like other questions just that are random. Where did I get my supplies for my background? Everyone always comments, how did you do your background? How did you do this? Where did you get the vines? I got everything on Amazon. I will put the links in the description for the vines, and here's what I used on them. I used fake vines, and then I got fairy lights. They're like curtain fairy lights, and then I just nailed the vines and the fairy lights onto my ceiling, and then I added fan art and other just arts that I made onto my background, and that's how I made my background. Do I prefer to do traditional or digital art? Personally, I am better at traditional art. I just can never master how to do digital art, so I personally would say traditional. How did I discover my love for just dragons in general? I definitely found my liking for dragons in the series Wings of Fire. I read the series and I absolutely loved it. How did I make my dino mask? I got this on my newer ones when I use my dino mask or on my live streams. So I made my dino mask with definitely patience. It took a long time to make this, and I had to learn from mistakes and stuff like that. I made my dino mask by looking at tutorials on YouTube. Most of them, I just kind of watched a bunch, took notes, and then I made mine. I made a mistake though on my ears. These were supposed to be switched. So the black one is supposed to be over here and the white one is supposed to be right here. So you definitely will make mistakes if you make a dino mask on your own, and that's okay. It's not gonna be perfect, especially on your first try. But this is my dino mask and I was quite proud of it. So that was my Q&A video for 80,000. I seriously cannot thank you enough. Like, I would never have imagined that I got to 80,000 when I started my channel. Like, what? And thank you so much. I really hope you liked this video, and if you did, just please like the video. Do anything to help support me. And thank you so much for watching if you got this far. And I hope you have an amazing day.